In this video I'm going to talk about using the offset command. As you can see on the screen, I've drawn four entities. I have a vertical line, I have a spline, I have a circle, and I have a rectangle. And I'm going to use the offset command to create copies of all of these entities, and each copy that I make in the offset command will create a copy of it that will be parallel to the first copy or to the first entity that I started with. So just let me show you, that'll be a better explanation. To pick to get into the offset command, you can pick from your toolbar here. This is the modify toolbar, and another way to get it is to go up here to your home tab and come over here to your modify panel, and there is the offset command there. And another way to get into the command is to use the alias. Just type O and press enter. Alright, now however you get into it, as soon as you pick on the offset command, you're going to be prompted to specify an offset distance. And what I'm going to type for my offset distance is 0.25 and press enter. Now it says select the object to offset, so I'm going to scroll in, get a little closer here to this piece. So I'm going to pick on this line, and as soon as I pick on that line, it says specify a point on the side to offset. If I move my mouse anywhere to the right and pick, it will offset my original line. Now this was my original line, and it makes a parallel copy of that that's 0.25 away. As you can see, it says select object offset, so that means it's still in the offset command. So I can pick another entity, in this case the line that was just offset, pick anywhere to the right, and it will create a parallel copy of that 0.25 inches to the right. Same thing would happen if I pick on this circle and pick to the inside of the circle. It creates a parallel copy of that would be 0.25 away. If I pick here and pick to the outside, you can see how that also works. Now I'm going to go back to my offset command, and whenever you pick on the offset command, you're always asked to specify the offset distance. And but what you'll see is that in my default, in the blue box, it says 0.25. So the offset command always comes back to the previous setting. So if you want a different setting, you need to type that in. So I am going to change my setting, and you can see it says 0.25, so I'm going to type 0.5 and press enter. And now again it asks me to select the object to offset. I'm going to pick this circle. I'm just going to pick outside of that circle, and you can see it took this circle and offset it a ½ inch away. It will do the same thing if I pick one of these lines. If I pick on the line, if I pick to the left of that line, it'll offset it 1/2 inch. If I were to pick this line and pick anywhere to the right of that line, it offsets it a ½ inch. Now let's look at what happens when we do this with a rectangle. When we pick on a rectangle and we pick outside of it, it creates a rectangle that is a ½ inch away. Now I'm going to pick on this rectangle and pick to the inside and pick, and it says it can't create that. That's because there's not enough room in this rectangle for it to offset that a ½ inch and create another rectangle. So sometimes it doesn't appear to work, but it's probably because it can't fit it in there. Alright, so let's come up here and offset this spline. I'm going to pick on offset again because I want to change my offset distance. I'm going to go back to 0.25 and press enter. Now it says select the object offset. I'm going to pick on my spline, and then I'm going to pick anywhere above it and pick. Now I'm going to pick the original spline again and pick underneath it and pick again. And I want to show you something about this. You may notice that it looks like the top spline may be a little bit longer than this spline, and that's because it actually did create a parallel copy, so it moved straight out at a 90-degree angle relative to the end point here, and it moved parallel to this line at a 90-degree angle. The same thing happened here on the bottom one. It offset at 0.25 in this direction. So sometimes as you offset things, just like with circles and rectangles, their sizes actually change as they offset. When you offset a line, though, it's going to remain the same size. Okay, so let's talk about this rectangle right down here. Because this is one entity, because it's a rectangle and all four sides act as one, when I offset that, it offsets as one entity and also as a rectangle. So if I wanted to be able to edit only one side of this rectangle, remember that what you have to do is come down here and pick on the explode command, pick the rectangle, press enter, and at that point, if you pick on any of those lines, you can see that I can select the lines separately now, where before they were acting like one entity. And that's how you use the offset command. This is a great tool for constructing house plans, floor plans, for constructing machine parts, and those sorts of things, because you can do an offset and then trim and just use these as construction lines.